Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are taking a whole stack of research and articles and boiling it all down into something you can actually use.
And the topic is one that I think affects almost everyone.
Absolutely. We're talking about mastering the morning.
It's a surprisingly well-researched field. You see it across, behavioral psychology, performance studies, general health.
And the consensus is pretty clear.
It is. The way you start your day, that first hour, it really does set the tone for everything that follows.
That's the core idea, isn't it? This almost like philosophical statement we kept seeing, win the morning, win the day.
Right. It sounds like a motivational poster, but there's real mechanics behind it.
And the challenge is so real. I mean, mornings are just tough.
They are. You've got that warm bed. It's working against you. You already know you have a demanding day ahead. It's just a moment of maximum vulnerability.
Okay, so let's set the mission for today. We're going to give you a shortcut. We've pulled out 4 clear, immediate steps from all this material.
And they directly target the 2 biggest enemies of a modern morning,
which are high stress and just relentless information overload. This is about moving from that struggle to some real productive momentum.
All right, I'm ready. Let's dive in.
So let's start with that first point of friction, that physical battle against sleep. For most of us, this whole thing is decided by one little device right next to our head.
We have to talk about the snooze button.
We do. The research frames it not just as, a minor annoyance, but as a guaranteed bad start.
A bad start. Yeah, people hit it multiple times, 3, 4, sometimes 5 times.
And that just guarantees you're going to be rushing. That lateness, that chaos, it triggers a stress response before you've even, brushed your teeth.
And physiologically, it's just so counterproductive. When you fall back asleep for those, say, 9 minutes,
right,
your brain starts a whole new sleep cycle. So when the alarm goes off again, you're waking up right in the middle of it.
And that's that feeling, that grogginess.
That's called sleep inertia. It's that mental fog that makes you feel so much worse, not more rested. You're basically just fragmenting your sleep.
So it's a lose-lose. You're getting worse sleep and you're more stressed.
Yeah.
So how do we break a cycle that's literally teaching us to associate mornings with chaos?
Okay, so this is step 1. And the best part is it takes 0 willpower. It's just physics.
Okay.
Step 1, eliminate the chance to hit snooze by physically moving the alarm.
So we're talking about putting your alarm clock, or let's be real, your phone on the other side of the room.
Exactly. Way out of arm's reach. The trick is you're removing the decision from the moment you're least capable of making a good one.
You can't really reason with yourself when you're half asleep.
You can't. By forcing yourself to physically stand up and walk across the room, you've already committed. You're awake.
You've won that first micro battle. I can almost hear people groaning at the idea of walking across a cold floor.
I know, but that 1 minute of minor anger is a much better trade-off than 2 hours of anxiety from a rushed morning. You've just bypassed that dangerous button completely.
A little bit of frustration now for a lot of peace later. I like it.
So we've won the battle against the bed. You're vertical. Now, the next priority, according to all the sources, shifts to your body's internal chemistry.
We're moving from the physical act of standing up to the core needs of the body itself. What's step 2? And why do people skip it in the rush for coffee?
Step 2 is immediate hydration. And the key is drinking water the moment you're out of bed before that first cup of coffee.
But isn't coffee what wakes up your brain? I mean, that's the ritual for millions of people.
It is, but what the research points out is that you've basically been fasting from water for, 6, 7, 8 hours?
Sure.
Your body, and especially your brain, is dehydrated. One of the papers we saw specifically said that even a 1 to 2% drop in fluids can cause real issues with concentration and even mood.
So that morning grogginess, it's not just sleep. Is my brain running on empty?
Exactly. We reach for the stimulant, the coffee, to fight that tired feeling. But a lot of the time, that feeling is just a symptom of basic dehydration.
Wow.
A big glass of water right away just gets your body back to an optimal state. It's like the basic maintenance your engine needs.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. And it connects directly to that kind of low-grade headache so many people get in the morning.
Wow.
We think it's stress or bad sleep, but the research suggests it could just be your body screaming for water.
It's a zero-cost energy booster. And it makes everything else you do that day cognitively a little bit smoother.
Okay, so we're up, we're hydrated, the body is running well.
Now we hit the biggest modern minefield, protecting your mental state. And this brings us to step 3.
The phone. It's calling to you from across the room. And this is the part almost everyone gets wrong.
That reflex to turn off the alarm and immediately open an app is, well, it's almost universal. So step 3 is about putting up a strict guardrail, the 20-minute digital detox.
20 minutes specifically.
Yeah.
Why 20? Why not say 5 minutes or an hour?
20 minutes seems to be that necessary buffer time. It allows your prefrontal cortex, the rational planning part of your brain, to really wake up and come online.
Yeah.
When you check your phone immediately, you bypass that and go straight to the limbic system. That's your brain's threat detection emotional response center.
So you're basically shifting from a resting state directly into a fight or flight mode.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the sources break down 3 specific ways this just sabotages your day. First, bad news.
Right.
Our brains are wired to prioritize negative info, so you're flooding your system with anxiety before you've even set your own agenda for the day.
Your defenses are down, and suddenly you're worrying about a crisis halfway around the world.
Second, the work stress. You see that email from your boss, and your mind is instantly in reactive mode. You're not thinking about your day anymore. You're thinking about their emergency.
And the third one?
Social comparison.
No.
You jump on social media, and you're immediately seeing everyone's curated, perfect lives.
Which our sources said leads to feeling inadequate, or like you're already behind schedule.
All before your first cup of coffee. It's a triple threat. It guarantees mental stress.
That makes the case for the detox absolutely critical. So if the goal is to have peace, those first 20 minutes have to be yours. But for someone who thinks 20 minutes is an eternity, what were some low-stress alternatives?
The key is gentle, mindful activity. The material highlighted simple physical stuff like stretching. Just 5 minutes of gentle movement can activate the part of your nervous system that calms you down.
And I like that it's small, manageable things, not some, complicated yoga routine.
Exactly. Another really simple one is just engaging with your actual environment. Open the window, look at the sky, notice the weather. It's a grounding technique that pulls your mind out of the digital world.
And what about practical things you have to eat eventually?
Making a nice breakfast is the perfect substitute. Instead of just passively scrolling, you're actively creating fuel for your day. You're focusing on the sound of the eggs, the smell of the toast.
You're defining the next 20 minutes instead of letting your phone define them for you.
That's the shift. It's a powerful one.
Okay, so we've managed the physical hurdle, the physiological needs, and we've protected our mental state. Now we get to leverage that fresh, peaceful state. This is step 4.
Yes. Step 4 is about habit stacking. It's about integrating some learning or mindful practice into things you already have to do, like getting dressed or making that breakfast.
Let's talk about that fresh brain state.
Yeah.
What does the research say is actually happening in our heads at that time?
It's fascinating, actually. Right after you wake up, before all the external noise gets in, your brain often shows higher levels of alpha and theta brainwaves.
And that state is good for?
It's really conducive to passive learning and absorption. Plus, that morning cortisol spike, which can be a stress factor, is actually optimized for focus on moderate tasks, as long as they're not anxiety-inducing.
So we should match our activity to that unique brain state. If you're getting dressed or packing a lunch, how do you integrate learning?
The sources all point to listening. So instead of silence, put on a podcast, something that adds to your knowledge. Or just listen to the news headlines for a high-level overview. You're using that absorptive state to layer in good information.
Making that dead time productive. I remember one really fun detail that research pointed out, specifically about language learning.
Ah, yes. The recommendation to sing in the shower.
It sounds a little silly.
It does, but for language learners, the research suggests it's a great low-stakes way to practice pronunciation and fluency. You're engaging auditory memory and motor learning all while doing a chore.
And you don't have to be a great singer. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Turns a chore into skill practice.
And if you connect all 4 of these steps, you see they all share one thing. They shift you from being passive and reactive snoozing, scrolling, to being active and intentional with your time.
Okay, let's summarize the 4 steps we've pulled out. We've tried to structure this so it's achievable, not just, aspirational.
The strategy starts with step 1, the FAR alarm, forcing physical action. Then step 2, address the body. Water before coffee for your brain. Step 3 is the mental guardrail, the 20-minute digital detox.
And then finally, step 4, use that fresh brain power. Integrate listening or some other mindful activity while you're doing your normal routine. The whole sequence just builds positive momentum.
And these aren't huge life changes. They're just simple shifts in placement and timing. You, the listener, you have agency here. You don't have to do all four at once.
No, absolutely not. Even trying just one thing, like leaving that phone in the kitchen overnight or just putting a glass of water by your bed, that's a huge first step.
Small changes really do build big momentum.
So remember how the source material pointed to those two huge stress factors in the modern morning?
The physical stress of rushing and the mental stress of that instant info overload.
The snooze button and the phone check. These are the two biggest obstacles standing between you and a peaceful, productive day. The twin dangers.
And they trigger two totally different types of negative stress. One is about time pressure, the other is psychological anxiety.
So, as our final thought for you to take away today, we want you to really consider which of those two dangerous habits is hitting you the hardest right now.
Is it the physical stress of always rushing because you hit snooze?
Or is it the mental stress, the anxiety that comes from immediately checking work emails or comparing yourself to others on social media? If you can identify the specific monster that owns your morning, you can start applying the right strategy to win your day.
A great challenge. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.